I'm Milton from TeamFFLEX. Here on my show, I run every single Wednesday for all you competitors out there called First Callouts, where we talk about everything competition related and stuff you need to know to be your best competitor. Today, I want to talk about, show cancellations, postponements, and things like that are happening, as now we are sitting very close to when competition should start to resume. But I want to also talk about what you can do regarding your training and nutrition through this time, through, postponements, cancellations, and everything else going on in 2020. Please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and then share out the video. I'm Milton from TeamFFLEX. You are on First Callouts. Alright fam, so we are here again. We're talking about competitions going through the pandemic. Kind of crazy the situation that has shaped up to be the competition season, but we should be near the end of this time frame where competitions may start to resume. As most of you know, March 16th to May 10th, all NPC and IFBB competitions were held off. They've been either canceled or postponed, and they're going to happen at a later date or next year basically. And so with this, we should start to see some things resuming here shortly. However, I've been getting a lot of questions saying, hey, you know what, my show's been canceled in June, it's been canceled in July, things have been pushed out even further. I thought that shows were supposed to be back on, so what's going on with that? Why is that happening? And then I also want to address, if you're a competitor competing right now in any of those shows that you were training for, got canceled or anything like that, I'm going to tell you what to do with your training and your nutrition. So as I just said, many shows, that were scheduled in June, even July, have been canceled, and people have been asking me, how does this happen? Why does this happen? Well, I'm going to tell you straight up, you can ask your promoter for that event. That's probably the best place to get the information. I can give you what my best guess is. However, this is just my opinion. I think that what's going on with the pandemic, obviously, as we have seen, as it's been taken down to a state-to-state level, okay? So, obviously the federal government has said what they've said, and now we're dealing with, individual governments at each state level. And so what happens with this is there's actually several reasons, in my opinion, that these competitions could be getting still canceled or postponed. And that's because of the fact that, first off, if the governor of that state is making different regulations, well, then it could be extending their, stay-at-home orders. They could be extending their quarantine. They could be extending their ban on mass gatherings. They could be extending any of these things for a longer period of time than actually what was said by NPC and IFBB when they made the March 16th to May 10th, okay? So if they've extended, in other words, and said, hey, out in Nevada or California, I'm just giving you examples, we're going to extend till whatever date, well, now any shows in that day, even if they were supposed to be back on, will have to move outside that date, right? They still have to reschedule, they still have to postpone outside that window of time. So that's one way it could definitely happen. The government at the individual local state level steps in and says you can't do that competition, you can't do that show at that time, because actually it's not just on bodybuilding shows, it's on all mass gatherings and concerts, everything like that. So that's definitely one possibility. Another possibility could be the fact that the individual venue that hosts the event is not going to do it for whatever reason. They don't want to, be working at that time. Maybe they're not working at that time. Maybe they've extended their restrictions for themselves during that time. Obviously, all these shows have to run at different venues, and while venues can change, it's often hard to get dates and book dates. Most of these are put far in advance. So in the event the venue says, hey, we're not actually going to be doing any reservations for this amount of time, all the ones that we've done, sorry, we're not going to do them anymore, we're going to do it resuming at whatever date or whatever indefinitely, well, that could definitely be another reason that your show, even outside of that window from March 16th to May 10th, is getting postponed or getting canceled. And this is something that a lot of promoters are dealing with right now, worldwide. This This is not just in the States. This is everywhere, and this is what the scene is for the competition industry right now amidst this pandemic. And while, it can be frustrating to be on prep, it can be frustrating to have a date in mind and it keeps getting changed or things keep moving or whatever, what you have to keep in mind is that this is really out of everybody's control. You can't be, upset with the NPC and the IFBB. You can't be upset with individual promoters. You can't be upset with show or staff or anybody else. Everybody's doing their best right now, fam. We're all doing our best to try to get through this thing, and everybody is affected by it on many different levels, on their own unique levels, and, it dramatically is a different environment. So with this, you're going to see some shifts, you guys. We're probably still going to see some things change. We're still going to see some, shows that were supposed to happen probably not happen, be scheduled, postponed, whatever. But I think soon we will start to see shows in, the next few months. Who knows? Again, it depends. It's day by day. This is all day by day. And again, I'm not a promoter. I'm not speaking on behalf of NPC or IFBB. I'm giving you my personal opinion based on what I'm seeing, what's going on, what I think could be happening. I just want to remind you, when it comes to your shows, the best place to always get your info is straight from the NPC, straight from the IFBB, or straight from the promoters. And that's it. Don't get your info only from me. I'm giving you some ideas, some stuff to, think about, check into, but go and do your own, assessment, email your own promoter, do whatever you got to do to get your questions answered specifically for you, because obviously I'm speaking in a general sense where there's going to be very different changes on each individual level, competition level even, that I wouldn't even know about or even how to give you advice on right now, okay? So that's important. Remember, always check with the promoters, always check with the organization for the best answer. I know a lot of competitors and a lot of coaches and a lot of people are talking, but it doesn't really matter what anybody's saying. It matters what the actual organizations and the promoters are saying. So get your information there. When we are talking about training and nutrition, however, I can't give you my professional expert opinion on what you can be doing right now if you're competing in this scene in 2020. As many competitors have had show dates already get canceled, show dates already get pushed back. Obviously, I had many people that were going to be competing during this period of time where we've been on, the restrictions from March 16th to May 10th. There was many people that we had on TeamFFLEX that were supposed to be competing. And so what I did with most of these people was say, hey, here's your two options, right? Here's what I'm thinking. We can use this time and say, you know what? Let's do improvement season. Let's go back into improvement season. Let's leave the prep we did, whatever level we had. Let's do improvement season now for the next few months, and we can look down the road, maybe late this year. Some people are going to take the rest of the year off, honestly, and compete next year, whatever. But let's see about an improvement season. That's an option. And another option would be, all right, let's extend the prep out. Let's start to kind of salvage this prep and reverse diet you a little bit, extend this, keep training for it. These are both viable options, okay? Those are really the two options you have. You're either going to continue to train as if you're going to compete, and even if your show date changes, whatever gets pushed out, you're going to train for that new date, or you're going to go into an improvement phase. And there's no right or wrong answer here. You got to look at yourself on an individual level. And this is what I'm doing with my clients when they say, you know what, my show got canceled, what do we do next? I'm saying, all right, well, here's our two options. You want to stay on prep, or do you want to go into improvement season? And the way that I'm telling them to kind of figure this out, because ultimately it is their decision, it's not a coach decision, it's not a promoter decision, it's their decision as an athlete, is, hey, you know what, how bad are you affected by this whole thing? Is it tanking, are you at work? Is it tanking your income? Are you, going to be financially stable enough to go put money into competing at X amount of time? Like, what else else is going on? What's your gym situation? Do you have access to a gym? Do you have home equipment? Are you going to be able to get some? You know, there's so many different things. And then your personal life. How's things going, you know, managing the kids or the family or whatever you got going at home? How are you going to bring all that in? Is that affecting your environment to want to compete, to be able to compete and do all that? Because if the answer is, you know, oh, well, I don't have a job anymore, I'm losing money, my bills are all draining my banks, you know, it's really hard to train because I don't have any stuff at home, the family's going crazy, got to take care of my kids all the time, you know, it's a very stressful, hard time right now. Well, it's probably maybe a good idea then to consider it might be a good time to do an improvement phase. Because while an improvement phase might seem like it's a step back, it can actually be a step forward in the long run, you know, if you decide to compete later this year, next year, whatever. It gives you more time to improve, more time to get better, more time to prepare for a better reveal on the stage, and that's really how you should look at it. Now, alternatively, there's going to be those competitors that are not that in that spot. They're not going to want to go into improvement season. They're not going to want to do that. They're going to want to continue to train for competitions, which is also a very good, great option to do. I think it's great if you can do that, and you should absolutely have that be your plan A option if you can to continue to train. Even though dates may change, or we were training for a certain date, and now you got to train for another one, and that one might change. It doesn't matter. If you're going down the road, you're trying to prep, you want to compete, you're going to be ready to compete when the stages open up again, well then continue to prep, continue to train. Keep training for your show dates, no matter what. If they're still on the board, and even if they're not, you know, keep training. Just keep that motivation forward. Stay on your diet. If you need to reverse diet, you need to adjust your training, you can do all those things to lengthen out your prep, stay relatively stage ready, and then pop into a show anytime, and it would be super easy, super beneficial to do. And for a lot of people, that's going to be a better option, you know. And some people, like I said, it's all up to you, you guys. Some people are going to do both these. I have clients that have done improvement season. They're like, I'm not going to compete this year. This is too crazy, too much going on. I can't really focus on my prep. I can't do any of that. I'm not going to do that right now. I don't want to add to my plate. Let's build, let's grow, let's get better, so when we come back, it'll be better. And then there's people that are hell-bent on competing. They're going to compete no matter what. They will be ready when the stages open up, whether there's audiences or not. You know, they're going to be there. They're going to be competing. They want to be competing this year. And so what I want to say is, both these options are good. There's no right or wrong. You got to assess yourself. You got to see where you're at. You know, talk to your coach if you need to. Get some extra feedback. But ultimately, the answer is your own. You got to come up with your own answer to this. What are you going to do? Are you going to add to your plate? Are you going to keep prepping? Are you going to take that off? What are you going to do? Either way, though, here's the thing. Don't let the lifestyle stop because of this pandemic. Don't let the lifestyle stop. Just because you're in improvement season does not mean you quit the nutrition or the training. You're just changing the focus of the goal. And if you stay on contest prep, obviously you're not going to quit the nutrition or the training. You're just changing the date focus of the goal. And either way, you're staying focused for the goal. The amount of people right now that, you know, are in the world that may not be competitors, but just in general, there probably are a significant amount of competitors this has happened to that are having a hard time. They just kind of gave up. They just stopped training. Maybe they're eating too much. They're doing all these things. They're gaining, you know, weight right now. They're getting out of shape right now. And they're going to have to undo all that when all this ends and they want to go back and compete again. And honestly, it's just not worth putting your body through. It's not worth being, you know, making it difficult for your body to handle everything going on already and then add to it with all that being unhealthy. So, you know, at the end of the day, keep the lifestyle, keep training forward, keep moving forward. Whether you pick to improvement season or you go for a show, you keep doing it. You keep going. You keep going. And remember what I said, fam. For any information about your specific events, you know, we're talking about competitions, whatever, hit your promoters up, get the information straight from them. Don't listen to your friend who's doing the same show. Don't listen to, you know, anybody out there that's not the promoters really, because at the end of the day, the information that's like, hey, this is going to be canceled, and hey, that's going to be changed, these things are going to happen, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, okay? If it hasn't been announced, it hasn't been told, it's not official, and you shouldn't be worried about it. At the end of the day, the promoters and the organization themselves will always have the most up-to-date information. They're going to have it for you. They're going to give you what you need to know, when you need to know it. And I'm out here trying to give you guys a general overview of what's going on, how things are going, and how you can continue to train and shape your experience here. Alright, so please do me a favor. If this was helpful to you at all, please subscribe to the channel and share out the video. I'm Milton from TeamFFLEX. See you tomorrow for Fitness Fire. Coach Rye is out.